For this speech, Caroline.
Caroline has been an NDG Toastmasters for several years. She has served on the executive for the past 3 years. She is an accountant who enjoys biking in the summer and cross-country skiing in the winter. Like many of you, she has faced personal challenges. Today, she will present a story of a physical challenge. While a physical challenge is different than a personal challenge, she feels it follows the same pattern as personal challenges. She hopes you enjoy the ride. Caroline Griffith, the 90-kilometer roadblock. Caroline Griffith, the 90-kilometer roadblock.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. In May, my brothers and I decided that we would make a challenge to bike 100 kilometers by the end of this summer. Now for us, that was a big challenge because the furthest that we've ever biked was 65 kilometers from here to St. Anne de Bellevue and back. Now, being engineers, they had to have a plan. So what they did is they had their itinerary of what we're going to do, and we're going to start with 50 kilometers and work our way up. At the 76 kilometer mark and the 86 kilometer mark, I tell you, it was challenging. Now, I wasn't as strong as the boys and I got tired, but it was a big challenge. And they wanted me to skip breaks. They wanted me to go to the bathroom outside. They wanted me to go faster. Let's go. Now, first of all, I'm a girl. I need indoor plumbing. I need breaks. I need lunch. And my lunch, I need a table and I need a chair. Now, in September, what happened was I was supposed to go to Martha's Vineyards and Cape Cod. And the reason why I was supposed to go, well, it was going to be a biking trip. But as life turned out, I ended up going to Punta Cana. And I really needed the vacation and the break. While at Punta Cana, it being an all-inclusive, what did I do? I indulged a little bit on the food. I had champagne for breakfast a few of those mornings. And at that point, I decided I had to make a decision. Was my ability to perform the 100-kilometer ride going to be based on that last week, or would it be based on the past 4 months of preparation and training? I decided that it was going to be based on the preparation and training of 4 months. While I was in Punta Cana, for 4 of those days, what I did was I went to the gym for 2 hours and I trained. I just wanted to keep my body up to a certain physical shape. I came back on the Monday. Now I knew the Saturday was 100 kilometers. So in between the Tuesday and the Friday, I trained as much as I could when I had a chance. The Friday night came. Doubt came in. I was afraid. Then I had another decision to make. I promised myself that I'm just going to speak positive thoughts to myself because I can do this. I went to bed and I woke up to a cool Saturday morning. Now that Saturday morning, we went out to slay our dragons. We wore, instead of our riding shorts, we wore riding pants and we wore our long sleeve gear. We went to Lachine, La Salle, Verdun. We crossed over the bridge. We went to the South Shore. And at the South Shore, we went to, I believe we went to every city in the South Shore. At the 60-kilometer mark, I was okay. The 70-kilometer mark, I felt it in my legs, but I was still okay. Then we headed back on the Jacques-Cartier back to Montreal. At the Jacques-Cartier, we crossed over and we ended up in the Old Port. And at that point, we were at the 86-kilometer mark. I was like, okay, I can do this. Old Port back to NDG, I've done that many times, not a big deal. So I was even joking with one of my brothers. Now, we got back on our bikes. We headed on the bike path. But something happened. Something happened at the 90-kilometer mark. I was exhausted. I didn't understand. I was okay a little while ago. What do I do? I was looking around. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I was on the bike path. So even if I called a taxi, I had to bike to the taxi. And I was so frustrated. What am I going to do? And then the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Muhammad Ali came to me. When it gets difficult, this is when you count. When it's tough. And then I thought about it as I was pedaling extremely slowly. Okay, I'm an accountant. What does an accountant do? She counts. All right, I fastened my glasses. I put my bike on the back and the front gear. I put it at the hardest gear possible. I've never done that before. I didn't look left, I didn't look right. I just visualized the end of the bike path. And what I did was I counted 6 pedals seated, 6 pedals standing. And I alternated this throughout the bike path. And I got to the end of the bike path. I was fierce. That was the best that I've ever biked. Now, when I got to the end of the bike path, I bent over my bike. I was gasping for air. My diaphragm was contracting and expanding, contracting and expanding. And then my brother, one of my brothers came to me and said, put your head up and go sit beside your other brother. So I did. And I unapologetically took his trail mix. And I ate it. I was starving. And also, I knew there was still one more hurdle to climb. So I quietly mentioned it to them. We still have the steep climb from Ville Saint-Pierre to Montreal West. And being the sincere, supportive brothers that they are, what did they do? They laughed at me. One said, did you see what you just did? And the other one was like, you've done it before. Friends, it was true what they said. I've done it before, and I've done harder than that. But I've never done it on empty or near empty. So I silently mounted up my bike, said a quiet prayer, and we weaved our way through Ville Saint-Pierre. We reached the hill. Now this time, I wasn't fierce. I circled the bottom of the hill. I put my gear on the lowest, easiest possible gear, and I started my ascent. Like the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. One brother passed me. Then my other brother passed me. And then I got to a spot, I was like, nobody would fault me if I just stop and I walk up the rest of the hill. But before I put my foot down, I looked up. And I realized, I'm almost at the top of the hill. Oh no, I'm not giving up now. What does an accountant do? She counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And ladies and gentlemen, I made it up the hill. You would have thought, as I was weaving my way through Montreal West and back to NDG, that I was doing my victory lap for the Tour de France. But friends, you realize I was proud. I was proud of me and my brothers because together we achieved our goal of 100 kilometers. I was also relieved. I was relieved that I didn't disappoint my brothers. And also, I found a strength that I didn't know I had. To you, Mr. Toastmaster.